guys, it's Bro You Whack, and welcome to Season 8. We have a brand new Battle Pass, a brand new hero, a new seasonal event, and what you're here for, changes to some of our favorite heroes that I'm sure everyone will agree upon. We have a total of 14 hero changes, where the bulk majority of them are going to be coming from the tank category, which also includes changes to Mauga. Blizzard heard a lot of our feedback after we tried him out after BlizzCon, and they decided to mainly buff him all around with his abilities, his damage, everything. So let's get started by looking at all 14 heroes that got changed. First, starting off with the tanks. So there's gonna be 6 total tanks changed in Season 8, which includes Doomfist, the Jungle Queen, Ramattra, Sigma, Winston, and the new hero, Mauga. First, let's look at Doomfist, who I think is gonna have the most interesting change because his Meteor Strike is gonna be receiving a massive buff where now he regenerates 75 health per second while in the air. And doing some quick maths here, his Meteor Strike takes 4 seconds in its whole entire duration, which means you do a total of 300 heals if you, of course, stay the whole 4 seconds while up in the air. But not everything's all sunshine and rainbows because his ultimate did get nerfed because now the cost increased by 16%. The Jungle Queen is getting a short but very sweet buff here where the spread to her scatter gun got reduced by 8%, meaning that's going to be a tighter shot, meaning that more bullets are going to be hitting your target, meaning that you're going to be doing more damage with the Jungle Queen. Let's say Mauga lasts for the tanks, and let's look at Ramattra next, where the base health of Ramattra is getting reduced by 100 points, decreasing from 300 to 200. However, his base armor is getting increased, or they're adding base armor from 0 base armor to 100 armor now. And we'll explain why that's a good thing after we talk about the Void Accelerator change, because the projectile size is getting slightly increased. You know, those little pellets that he shoots? Yeah, the projectile size is increasing from 0.075 to 0.1 meters. Again, insignificant. However, the damage is getting increased, which that's significant because they're increasing the damage from 4.5 per damage pellet to now 5 damage per pellet. And very quickly, going back to the armor and base health, in case you guys don't know, armor is so different when it comes to the health pool than just regular health because it reduces incoming damage by 5 total damage. So this is really good for like Soldier's Gun or Reaper's Gun or really any sort of gun for that matter. The only time that armor is not actually beneficial is to Torbjorn's Molten Core Ultimate, where it actually does more damage to armor than just base health or shield health. But enough of the school lesson, let's look at Sigma's nerf because his barrier is getting changed where the regeneration rate is going to get reduced from 100 points per second to now 85 points per second. So you really don't want your shield to drop in health because it's going to take even longer now for that health to regenerate. Winston is getting a massive buff because his Tesla cannon now completely ignores armor damage reduction. So remember that school lesson that I talked about with Ramattra, how incoming damage is reduced? That is not applied to Torbjorn's ultimate and now Winston's Tesla cannon. So I kind of lied. So there's 2 things that it's not beneficial to have armor with. And the final tank that's getting changed in Season 8 is, of course, Mauga, who's getting a whole laundry list of changes. And typically with these videos, I like to compare the old hero to the new heroes so they can see the significance of the change, but I don't have any footage of the old hero. But that's alright because a lot of this is just going to be number changes. Case in point with his health, where they're going to be reducing his base health by 150. However, they're going to be increasing his base armor by 150. So just like Ramattra, this is actually a buff, because, except for Torbjorn and Winston. He's losing a couple of brain cells because his head hitbox volume is getting reduced by 15%, meaning that it's a lot harder to hit critical damage on Mauga. But now a majority of the changes are going to be for his Incinerate and Volatile Chain Gun, aka Gunny and Cha-Cha. So whenever you fire both of the guns, the spread is going to get reduced by 15%. You're still going to have a massive spread, but the spread is now getting reduced by 15%. And the fire rate multiplier for both of the guns is getting reduced from 25% to now 0%, meaning that you just fire them both right away without having that slight buildup. The damage per shot for both Gunny and Cha-Cha is increasing from 4.5 damage per bullet to now 5 damage per bullet, and the damage fall-off range is increasing by 5 meters. Previously it was 25 and now it's 30 meters. The bullet pool for both of the guns is increasing from 300 bullets to now 350 bullets. My god, there's so much bullets! The movement speed penalty is getting reduced from 20% to 15%, meaning that you can run and gun, well, not run and gun, walk and gun and still be at least somewhat mobile. Not by much, but a little bit. His overrun ability is getting some love too, especially when it comes to Sombra, because whenever you activate his run ability, it can no longer be hacked and stopped by Sombra, and the damage reduction whenever you are running running is increasing from 30% to now 50%, meaning that you can feed and only give the enemy 50% of the damage. Lifesteal is getting a slight buff where they're increasing the amount of health from 60% to now 70%, and his passive, which is where whenever you do critical damage to an enemy, you as Mauga get temporary shield. Well, this is getting a slight buff where the conversion rate is increasing from 40% to now 50%. Well, that was fun. Let's ruin the good time by looking at all the DPS heroes that got nerfed, which includes Mei, Soldier 76, Sombra, Torbjorn, and Tracer. And if you're a Mei hater, which is a large portion of my audience, you're gonna be happy to know that the maximum ammo is getting decreased from 150 clip to 120 clip. Man, I swear Mei mains can't have any fun! Oh, hey, look, another hero that I play a lot is getting nerfed. Luckily, it's only his biotic field where they're gonna be increasing the cooldown by 3 seconds, which is actually a lot because when you realize that the cooldown is now 18 seconds, you're not gonna be self-healing a lot with Soldier anytime soon. Sombra's EMP is getting both a buff and a nerf, but I would say this is more or less a buff because now whenever you EMP an enemy, their ability lockout is now gonna be 3 whole seconds, where previously it was 1.5 seconds. However, the health reduction whenever an enemy gets EMP'd is getting reduced by 5%. Previously, you reduced the enemy's health by 30%, but now you reduce it by a quarter. Torbjorn's Overload ability is getting a buff where the temporary shield that you gain is getting increased by 25 points. Previously, you got 75 at temporary shield, and now you get 100 temporary shield whenever you activate Overload. And Tracer's pistols are getting a buff. So really, it was just Soldier and Mei that got nerfed because Tracer's damage is getting increased where you're going to be doing 6 damage per bullet, where previously it was 5.5 damage per bullet. Well, that was a lot of fun looking at my mains get nerfed. Now let's look at the support heroes that are getting changed, which includes Baptiste, Brigitte, and Kiriko. And also Mercy. There were some patch notes that came in late for our favorite babysitter. Well, Baptiste is getting a pretty significant nerf because his ammo clip to his primary fire is getting reduced from 45 bullets to now 36 bullets. I can already hear the cries of all DPS Baptiste mains because you're losing out on 3 whole shots. No! And Brigitte mains stay suffering because they're reducing the whip shot's damage from 80 damage per whip shot to now 70. No! And Kiriko is getting changed where they're increasing the speed of her healing of Fuda papers from 14 meters to now 18 meters per second. No! Wait, that's actually a buff. Wait, that's actually such a huge change. And on top of that, they're changing her protection Zuzu cleanse where the invulnerability duration is getting decreased from 0.85 seconds to now 0.65 seconds. Wait, that's a nerf. No! Well, Zuzu's getting both a nerf and a buff because the healing explosion, you know, the initial heal that you give an ally is increasing by 40 points. Previously, you gave an ally 40 health upon impact. Now you give them 80 health upon impact. Now, Mercy's changes in regards of her ultimate because when you're blue beaming someone or yellow beaming someone and you activate your ultimate, typically it would disconnect for a moment, but now it's always going to be connected. So while it's definitely a quality of life change, it's still technically a buff. But hot gamer boys and e-girls everywhere, those are all the Season 8 hero changes. And be sure to check out my other Season 8 videos where I look at the shop and eventually the battle pass and all the other Season 8 goodness. But until then, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.